Most of the time when I use Corky, I have someone else control it for me live. But I do it in two different ways. I actually create a program, which I'll show you. Flip it so that the red light is blinking, that switch. I push the go button, and as soon as I push that button, I'm immediately recording. Push it, and then start going. Boom. I'm just going to do this for about, I don't know, 30 seconds or so. I'm just making a very simple program. If you see how it's kind of wiggling right there, it's kind of like if you time it so it starts to come down, then push the button, then you can get this really cool wiggle. Normally what I do in this situation, like when I went to the Rick Wilcox Theater, which I'll show you the video on how that worked here in a second, I had like a 5-minute program in there. By the way, this will program up to 25 minutes of movement, but your battery will not last that long. Okay, I'm done making a program. I push go. I make sure I flip the switch back so that the green light is blinking. Now in this situation, Rick Wilcox comes out and he puts the hanky inside the bottle and puts the cork on. And at that point, I actually push the go button so that Corky, or not Corky, the extreme hanky is now going through a program. So if, let's say a little kid said, bang, all I have to do is, while the program is playing back, is push the go button, which pauses everything. So, bang! As soon as you hear the word bang, push pause. And then when they say dance, push pause again, and it goes back to the program. This is the best way to do it instead of having to sit there and do this over and over again and over again. So if I say bang, all you do is push pause. Wiggle, 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 makes it dance again by pressing the button again. And then you know that the program is over, because right now the light is solid green. When the program is over, it starts to blink. So this is a tip for controlling the hanky live.
Yeah!
Why is it called a paper thing, Dad?
Got it? Got the bottle? You ready? Come on. Hey, watch this. Come on up, guys.
All right, what I'm going to show you is there's actually a certain way you have to put the cork in during performance. I'm just going to show you a really quick, easy thing here. And I'm just going to control it myself right now. You have to teach your assistant how to do this properly. So right now, there's a string inside the knot with the white or blue tack. It's very important on how you put the hanky in. You don't want to put it in string side first. You want to put it in from the bottom like this till it hits the ground. Right now the bottom of the bottle, the cork is off to the side. At this point I could actually make it dance, but it doesn't dance very well because of the way the cork is positioned. There's a little bit of drag. So what I would do is I'll show you this in a second, but I just want to show you how to put it on properly. So if I went like this and it wasn't dancing and I put it on, what happens is there's a big piece of string hanging out here and it's not going to work because the string is now trapped inside the cork. If I remove this and start making it dance, so if your assistant is helping you, keep in mind that make sure that they make it dance, but not at high speed. You don't want to go completely at high speed, and I'll tell you that why here in a second. So, you gesture at it, you start to make it dance. This could be also a program, and as you're doing that, what's really cool about Corky is I move my hand towards the bottle. It still dances even though I'm retracting and also reeling in string at the same time. It's just kind of a bump, 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 bump. Put it on. Now at that point there's no string caught. You know there's no string caught because it dances really smoothly and it hits the bottom because I have enough weight inside the knot. So also when it's dancing you can also remove the cork, but just tell your assistant or yourself to make sure when it gets to about right there to drop. You don't want it to go all the way up to here because then sometimes it'll get stuck like that. You want to make sure that it just kind of barely hits about right here and then release. Now another thing you can do, like turn it all the way down. If I hold this button down, nothing will happen, but if I slowly move it up, the silk will start to stand up really slowly if you do it right. So it's however fast or however slow that wheel is up. So again, it's dancing, dip, 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 boom, 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 boom. And remember, do it that way and not this way because right now, string is trapped. Boom, 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 boom. String is not trapped. Now remember when you're packing this and you're putting this in position, you want to make sure it's out of the way of other stuff because this is my Animation Sensation. I also use this case to hide my Impossible Hank and my Ultimate Dancing Hank. I'm going to kind of show you how I do my configuration. But when I do this part here, I make sure, first of all, there's no loose string because I'm pushing the button right now and retracting the string. You could have a signal to your assistant backstage or that may be out in the audience, just shake your head and just say turn it on low, come up with some kind of assistance. So what I do is I just put it right over the top of Corky, just like that. So in real time it'd be like this. Okay. So that's your setup. We haven't even done Corky yet in this particular performance. I'll put the remote here for a second. So I'm going to show you a quick little transition using the Ultimate Dancing Hanky because you have to put it here, inside here in such a way that it doesn't tangle on anything. So really, I'm going to do this really slow with this shot. I'll go like this, goes up forward. I grab this and I put everything as far back as possible so that when I remove this, there's nothing going to tangle with Corky. Now I'm going to show you that from the front in real time. I'm going to use a red silk and a white silk so you can see the transition. Now I'm going to take you through the how do you get rid of the Ultimate Dancing Hanky and get into Corky. So let's just say you did your whole routine. It's doing its little dance. And at this point what I do is I go forward while pulling the trigger as far as I can. Once I get into this position, I let the trigger up and it kind of folds. So what I do is this, I go, like I'm trying to pull it toward the case. I go zip, and that's when I go boom, fold, put it in place. Without missing a beat, I grab the Corky, which is red, and then I shove it right inside the bottle. I'll make a gesture because right now I have an assistant controlling this. I go do-do-do-do-do. It dances. He dances. Dance again. Come on, keep dancing, keep dancing. Good boy, good boy. Put it on there, and at that point, I'm not sure if you need to do that, but there's no string. So he's dancing around, and when you're ready to go, you remove the cork again, put it back in that same position. Take your hoop, raise it up a little bit high, have your person turn speed all the way up and press and hold the button. Go ahead. And it jumps right in. Now also when it comes to this, if you were using a duplicate silk, let's say I have a red duplicate silk. This is also the animation sensation. So this is a way to get into it with the animation sensation. Your animation sensation program would be like this. It would do a little peekaboo, wiggle around when you're not looking, and then as soon as you turn around, it sneaks away, and then you realize that it is doing its thing. So I'm going to put a knot in this silk. And yes, this is a diamond cut silk. You may want to consider using one because they're a lot lighter, but I would normally just use the regular kind, but I just had this one here, the only red one I had. So I can pull this out, tie a knot, maybe wipe my hair, blow my nose, a little bit of boogie, drop it inside there as if I'm done whatever I'm doing, and then at that point, the hanky looks up and you're like, audience goes crazy over that one. So then you're like, hey dude, what's up? So then you grab the silk that's tied to Corky. Another thing I do is sometimes I'll drag my hand down here, stretching some string out, and then grab it so that it will always fall on the bottom. So then at that point, my assistant makes it dance. Boom, boom, boom. It does this little dance, a little bit better dancing than that, and then boom. It goes all the way through, flies all the way back through here, and that is your transition from the animation sensation and the ultimate dancing hanky. I'm going to go over a couple things I want you to keep in mind when you're using Corky. Now remember, Corky uses invisible thread. It's a very, very strong invisible thread, but there's a couple things I want you to keep in mind. Let's say you're at a show or the night before and you thread Corky, it's ready to go, and you're doing a lot of this. You're dancing, you're checking it out, you're playing your routine back, maybe 5, 6 times. My suggestion at that point is to remove Corky and then break the string and rethread it after you practice a few times, because every time it hits the very top, the string stretches just a little bit and your chances of breakage get a little bit higher. But my general rule is I never let it slap to the top really hard. Right there is not that hard. It's at a perfect speed so it won't break. But I let it dance until it just about hits here, and then I let it go. Dance, 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 let it go. So kind of keep that in mind. Now I'm going to show you the setup I used with the young man here that was holding the bottle. During your show, you can do some of my other products, or you could just use this by itself. We're just going to do something really, really simple. We're going to pretend that this stool is the boy. Him and I go out into the audience, and I try to do some things. I have the house lights turn on so that, you know, you can see everything really, really good. Got some good music going, and I'm walking along, and I'm just going to kind of show you. If you ever seen Jeff McBride do his miser dream with the little hitting the wand on the pan, it's kind of that concept. What I do is I grab the bottle, I'm holding it, and I'm going to control it, but I would normally have my assistant or someone who is sitting in the very front row or the second row who can see this bottle when I come out into the audience. So when I come out into the audience, the bottle or the hanky is dancing, thanks to my offstage assistant. And then I walk out into the audience. We're just going to assume this is the boy, our wooden boy. He's Pinocchio. And he makes a great seat. Okay, so I'm walking along. I'll hold the bottle like this. When I get right to the kid, it stops. Then I move forward. It starts to dance a little bit. I move backwards. It stops. Basically, the hanky is now picking the young man. So the young man grabs the bottle. He holds the bottle. At this point, there's nothing to see. There's no string. So he's holding the bottle. Him and I walk on stage while he holds the bottle. He comes up on stage. I tell him to hold the bottle and to face the audience. Sometimes I'll tell the kid, I'll say, okay, put your finger like a squirt gun or something and go bang, bang. Now your offstage assistant is waiting for that bang. As soon as you hear the bang, just let's go. And then I tell the little kid to wiggle his fingers like this, and it starts to dance again. A lot of times the kids get a really good kick out of that. So now I bring him, he's on stage, he's holding the bottle like this, right there. And at this point, just like you've seen in the video, I put the hoop over the kid's head, so he's holding the bottle like this. So I can remove the cork. It has to be in a free position to put the string through the hoop. So at this point, I'm going to set the hoop here. No, it's actually on the kid's head. Do this part first. It's around the kid's head. Now you remove the cork, and now while you're doing that, you're going to want the hanky to be dancing, but not too fast, and tell your assistant to make sure not to bring it all the way out. And then you slowly remove the cork like this. Oops. Let's try that again. All right, boom, 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 boom. Okay, now you slowly remove the cork. I'm going to turn the speed down a little bit because it's jumping a little too high, and I remove the cork as it's dumping or dancing, and I put it in a position in my case where I've moved some foam out of the way to make sure that it's in the right position. There we go. Here it goes. Boom, 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 boom. It's dancing. See how it went all the way down? If it doesn't go all the way down, put a little blue tack in there. So now it's dancing. The kid's holding the bottle. And at this point, I remove the hoop from around his head. And at this point, the string is going from here all the way through the hoop to right here in the case. So the kid holds the bottle. He's down a little bit lower. Now if I turn the speed all the way up, first of all, I let it dance for a little while. And then I turn the speed, I let it go down, I turn the speed all the way up. When I'm ready to go, I tell the kid, tell it to go. And then at that point, it's all the way up. I push and hold the button, or your assistant push and hold it as hard as it can. If I push it now, it doesn't come all the way out, as you see. You actually have to lift like this to pull it out a little bit to go in. If you notice, I lift up high, so it went down at an angle, and it went all the way in, and it's not hanging like that. So we're going to try that again. Hoop around the bottle. Hanky inside, kids holding the bottle. Let me go ahead and remove the cork. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, it's not trapped. Turn the speed down a little bit. Zip, 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 zip. Remove the cork. And you want to remove that cork in a way that it's not like, you want to remove it in such a way that it's just a cork. It's nothing else other than a cork. Go like this, boom, as fast as you can. Let it dance like that. And just remove the cork. So then again, take the hoop off the kid's head. Turn the speed all the way up. Push the button, go like that, and it jumps all the way into the case. Okay, now I'm going to show you guys how to save a program. So if you have a program that you really, really like and you use for your show, but you also want to play around and try other programs without losing that program, you can save your program. It's saved kind of like a picture or a song, and the remote acts like a mini SD card or SD card. So the first thing you do is you use your provided mini USB cable or any mini USB cable and plug it in. And when I did that, I'm using a Windows 10 computer. You could hear that something had connected sound. Now I'm waiting for it to come up, and what happened there is for my computer, it opened automatically. Yours may not open automatically, and if it doesn't, then you're going to go into like File Explorer, and these are all the hard drives on my current computer. And this right here, Begonia, that is this, which is, it can only hold one program, and you cannot name that program anything. Let's say you want to save this program because you like it. I right click it, I click copy. Now on my desktop, there's a folder that says Corky Show Programs. There's nothing in there right now. So I clicked on Corky Show Programs. I right click and I paste that right into here. It might take a second. Just let this complete. Don't get out. Okay, now it showed up. I can see that. Now, if I wanted to put this program in back into where it was. So let's go back to where it says Begonia. If you have to delete this. Now, if I was to click paste right now, it would say try again. That doesn't work because it only holds one file. So you have to delete this. Let's say this is now a completely different program that's on your Corky. You delete that program from the remote and then paste. Try again. Oops, let's see how that works. I'll have to go back to the program, Corky Show program, copy. Now you could do that, or you could just drag it right in. Let me show you how that works. There's where we want it. We go like this, boom, and I just drag that right in there. Now while that's loading, what you can do is just say you have names for the programs that you use the most. What you would do is you would right click and then create a new folder and then name that folder whatever the program is. If I right click, rename, put school show. So that's the name of the program, that's the one you use. So now you can drag this one into that folder and then you can retrieve it that way and have names and know which ones by basically creating folders. And that's how you save a program to your computer for later use.